Parshat Re'eh describes the kosher signs for animals, for fish. And the question is, when it comes to fish, why specifically fins and scales are highlighted as the signs of a kosher fish? An explanation that's often answered, beyond the fact that the Torah says so, and that's the reason why we do it, is that fish with fins and scales, they swim in higher parts of the bodies of water, so therefore they're not bottom feeders, and they're more fresh, more pure, more exposed to sunlight, and better quality for people to eat. However, here's an idea that I thought about recently, and I think it's really relevant for our days. Scales, purpose of them is to protect the fish. If you look up the purpose of scales on the internet, which I did, you'll see that they're there to protect the fish for the most part, and especially kosher fish, the scales have to be the type that will come off the skin on their own without having to rip the skin. Those are kosher scales, and those scales definitely are protective armor for the fish from other predators, from the elements in the sea. So they symbolize protection. And really, to be kosher Jews, we need to protect ourselves. We need to live a kosher, strong, bold Jewish life. We need protection. We need a strong army. When our enemies attack us, we have to fight. And we have to fight with strength and courage until we win, to protect ourselves and protect our nation. Very important. However, if we get stuck simply in that mindset of going to war, of fighting, we're missing out on a central piece of Judaism, which is a positive vision for ourselves. We have a positive vision. We want to grow in holiness. We want to become better Jews, draw closer to God. We have a positive vision for the whole world, that we want to help the world and heal the world. And if we're only focused on fighting and protecting ourselves and surviving, we're missing out. And that's symbolized by the fins. The purpose of the fins is to enable the fish to progress through the sea. And therefore, we need to remember that we have to progress, move forward, and look forward. Have a forward-looking vision, not simply be a Judaism of survival. This stood out a lot post-Holocaust when many critiqued a type of Judaism that was being espoused, which is a survival-type Holocaust. Type Judaism, which is focused on all of our mourning, what we've been through, and our struggles and our pain. Obviously, that's very important to focus on. We're a religion of remembering. But if we're only remembering all the time, we lose out on the positive vision of Judaism. We need to remember that we have a lot to share with the world, and there's a lot for us to do that's very positive. There's growth, there's learning, there's Avdei l'orecha kamocha. There's so many positive injunctions and types of guidance in Judaism we can never forget about, and the fins symbolize that. The fins may even be stronger in terms of their value than the scales. The scales, we need to protect ourselves. But the fins, when the Torah speaks about fins and scales, it always lists the fins first. We can learn from here that we need the positive vision, and in order to manifest the positive vision, we need to protect ourselves and make sure we're not at harm. Similarly, the Talmud says that any fish that has scales automatically has fins. So you have to ask yourself a question. Why did the Torah go out of the way to say that the kosher fish have fins? It could have just said they have scales. We would have known that they have fins. I think it's the same thing. The Torah wants to say, even if it has scales, we can't forget the fins. We can't forget our positive vision as a nation. If we forget our positive vision, we will lose our energy, we'll lose our life force, and we'll lose our inspiration. And as a nation, it's so important to have that. So that's what we need to remember from the fish, the fins and the scales and the fish, that we are a nation that's not only surviving, but God willing, through our philosophies, through our ideals, through our sharing a blessing with the world, we're also thriving as well. Good Shabbos.